Already some excitement for the big boats who are on the starting line. J105s are off the line next, and this time the pin end looks strong. And Monkey Dust goes back. Friday night, Wednesday night series, and as they cross to take the garbage barrage,
the fleet is assembling for the first race of the third and final series of the Annapolis Yacht Club Wednesday night season. Last week, the racing was canceled due to very light wind, disappointment, 3 guns at 6 o'clock straight up. No one even got the sail covers off. This week, things are looking a little better, but it's not without some intrigue. A weak cold front just passed through the starting area. We can still see the clouds over the eastern shore of the back side of it, leaving behind a light northwesterly breeze. There's still some clouds in the area, some banks of dark clouds, no threat of storms, but will this northwesterly build into something sailable? We're looking forward to finding out this evening. I'm Dave Gindel from T2P TV, coming to you tonight from the Boatyard Bar and Grill Film Boat. Happy to be with you. There's the first start of the night, PHRF 0 and Mum 30s. It coincides with the biggest gust of the day, probably 10, 11 knots of breeze, very flat water in this direction. So a few of the asymmetric boats here are opting to go for kites or attempting to. It's a very tight reach out of here. Everybody's setting up for it, and just a couple of them have popped, including Windborne here. Now, as usual, the crew work aboard Ramrod was very nice. They got the kite up. I'd like to see a few more guys hiking there. They've got the main completely flogging, a bunch of guys to leeward, but besides that, they're sprung out and looking great. So as the PHRF 0 and FAR 30s make their way out the river, PHRF 1 and J-35 start. We're over on the pin end, which tactically seems to be the place to be, especially if you're thinking about a kite. But some of these symmetrics here, it's going to be too tight to get out of the river with a kite. So it's a long jib reach. Let's put some bodies up on the rail, pull those sails in, and go fast in a straight line. Catching up with the J-35 Dakota Girl shortly after the start. You know, these J-35s have massive head sails, as opposed to some of the more modern designs where the head sails are a little smaller. So with this big jib, they can really make tracks on their way out the river. It looks a little bit light here. They're in a little bit of a lull, but the breeze will come right back. Next start of the evening, the J105 class. So you're seeing some of the class leaders going early with the kites, including Doghouse and A-Train, getting the kites up before the start. Right here at the pin where we are is Bat 4 and the Mystery Machine. Bat 4 being driven by Jack O'Brien, Mystery Machine by Peter McChesney. Now, if they weren't over early, I did not hear the gun. If they were not over early, they've got brilliant starts. Brilliant starts. A great windward position, getting those kites up early and make their way out the river. Looking at the J105 fleet from the leeward side, you can see everyone trying to hold their height to get out of here. Now, nobody's going to have a problem making the mark at the mouth of the river. It's a port rounding. However, you're going to sail a lot more distance if you let yourself get down low. And the first J105s have reached the turning mark. And wow, nice puff here. Kites coming down. Bodies racing to the weather rail, and they turn for a jib reach out towards Hackett Point. Fairly early with the spinnaker and doing a great job keeping their nose clean. Mirage holding down the lead. The next batch of PHRF boats are approaching the first mark, including the J92 QA2. Outside of the river now, the fleet's jib reaching towards Hackett Point. First Etchells around the mark. Ed Holt, Special Ed, turning and heading for home on the shortened course for these Etchells. In second place and looking very fierce coming around that mark, Chris Brady and Whirlwind on 12:38. They won the second series, looked very impressive in doing so, and they're going to work to grind down Holt here on the way back into the river. Running third in the Etchells, Jeff Borland in 8:19. They sat out the second series this summer, but they're back and they very much are in the conversation. And the evening's final PHRF class making its way out of the river. It's very gusty here. Some dark clouds moving through, gusts underneath of them. Crews have to be prepared for anything and looking upwind all the time. And just a great mix of classic boats here. J22s, Catalina 27s, Cal 25s. Just a real look at the history of Annapolis sailboat racing in the last 30 years here in this class, and they're having a great time. I see plenty of smiles here. The leaders tonight making their way into the harbor under spinnaker. As usual, it's Dr. Eng and the Stray Dog crew. Do they have enough of a lead to correct out to the win here tonight? It's been a fast race. And as the lead Etchells make their way into Spa Creek, the order has held up. Ed Holt holding down first, Christopher Brady second, and Jeff Borland in third. Nice look at Holt and crew here as they make their way in. Mixing in through the Etchells and having a fierce race of their own is the Herrshoff class, looking great. So we've got Stray Dog, Etchells, and Herrshoffs all in the creek at once here. The clouds have parted, the sun's back out, and the breeze is held here as the fleet makes their way into Spa Creek. It's absolutely a beautiful scene. Good look at Christopher Brady and crew, the winner of the second series and finishing second here in the Etchells class tonight in the opener of the third series. And about 50 yards off the bow of Brady is Ed Holt, who finished second to him last series, and they take the winning horn here in the first race of the third series. Great job to the crew of Special Ed. So at the start, it did not look potentially good. It looked pretty sketchy, actually. Very light northwesterly breeze, a few dark clouds around. It turned into a gem of a Wednesday night. Nice northwester held on, temperatures down, humidity's down, sun's back out. Beautiful night on the Severn River to open the third series of the Annapolis Yacht Club Wednesday night season here on the Boatyard Bar and Grill film boat. On behalf of the Boatyard Bar and Grill and the Annapolis Yacht Club, I'm Dave Gandell from T2P TV. Thanks for watching.
The Eastport Yacht Center on Back Creek, where the Severn meets the bay, is the perfect location for all your marine needs. It's a complete full-service marina with new floating docks and bathhouse. For more information, visit www.eastportyachtcenter.com.
You're watching T2P TV.